Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to math. Today, we're going to continue working on equations that involve circles, parabolas, hyperbolas, and ellipses. Okay? We covered those four things throughout the 6 weeks. Our objective for today is to identify what kind of equation it is. Okay? I will say this. We learned how to graph them, or how to create an equation, how to graph them. Okay? Today we're gonna work on how to identify which one of the four it is, if it's a circle, an ellipse, a hyperbola, or a parabola. Okay? There's a very, very simple way to identify which one it is. Okay? I will say this. You will need the following form. Okay? This is a standard form of an equation. We have ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0. Okay? It kind of looks complicated. We're going to go over it, okay? All we really need to know is this is the order, okay? A, B, C, D, E, and F are all numbers, okay, on a regular equation. The only way, so you guys can see it is, know that we have a squared, or x squared, the very first, that's your leading coefficient. Then we have xy, then y squared, then just an x, then just a y, and then just a constant, okay, at the end. So kind of, again, this kind of looks confusing. We're going to label our equation, okay, so make sure you have it down. All right, another thing we're going to need is, I'm going to show you guys another little board. Okay, it's kind of a little chart. It's not that complicated. If you need time, go ahead and pause the video. These are your four types over here: parabola, circle, ellipsis, and hyperbola. Okay. In order to be a parabola, A has to equal 0 or B has to equal to 0, but not both. Okay. Again, it might sound a little confusing. We're going to go over it in a little bit. For a circle, A has to equal C. So A and C has to be the same exact number. Okay. For ellipses, A and C have the same sign, so they both are positive or they're both negatives. Okay, but A and C cannot be the same number. Okay, and then for hyperbola, A and C have opposite signs. One's positive, one's negative. Okay. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, before we start on today's concept, I just want to give you a heads up. On one of the problems, there is a little error. Okay, let's see who watches throughout the whole video. Okay, let's see if you guys find the error. Okay, so at the end, when you get the problems, also send me what the error was, right? Don't just solve all three problems, but also tell me where was the error, okay? All right, guys, let's start with the concept for today. Now that you have that in there, okay, we can actually start on today's concept. So our problem for today is, we have the following. We have 3x squared minus 3y squared plus 5y, or 5x, I mean, plus 12 equals 0. Okay? Again, all we're really going to need is the following. We're going to need, let's use this, the blue. No, let's go with blue. All right, all we're going to need is A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay? All we need to find on this problem is the following things. A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay? If you guys remember on the equation, the one that has an x squared is your A. So in this case, notice how we have an x squared on the first one. So A is 3. So we have 3. Okay. For B, notice that on the equation, we don't have an xy, okay, on this equation. So since we don't have anything in there, our B is going to be 0. Okay. Our C is y squared. Notice that we don't have a y, or we do have a y squared here. So it's negative 3. Okay. So negative 3. And again, do we have a D? D would be x, number with an x. That's D right there. So 5. E is a number with just a y. There's no just y, there's y squared, but we already used it. There's no just y, so again, another 0. And finally, F is just our constant, which in this case is 12. All right, now that we know our very basic stuff, okay, we can actually tell which one of the 4 it is using the chart I gave you guys a little while ago. Okay, this chart. Okay, so for the purpose of this problem, let's see if it's a parabola. Okay, A has to equal to 0 or B has to equal to 0, but not both. Okay, so is A 0? No. B is 0. Looks promising, right? B is 0. So it could be a parabola. Okay, so it might be parabola. So let's put a little p just in case. Okay. What about a circle? Can it be a circle? Is A and C the same? A and C? No, right? One's positive. I mean, they're both 3's, but one's positive, one's negative. So it is not the same. Okay. What about ellipses? A and C have the same sign, but they are not the same number. Okay. So A and C, I mean, they're the same number, but one's positive sign, one's negative. They are not the same sign, so it cannot be ellipses. What about a hyperbola? It says A and C have opposite signs. Look at that. They're both opposite signs, okay? So it could be a hyperbola, okay? Now, keep in mind, A or B are 0 for the first one. We have a B, okay? We also have a hyperbola because opposite signs are the same, okay? Which A and C have opposite signs, okay? So what we're gonna go with is more likely a hyperbola, okay? Even though we could have said parabola because A or B are zeros, okay? But since the bigger chance here is hyperbola, we're gonna go with a hyperbola, okay? So your answer is a hyperbola. I mean, you could graph it as a circle, as a parabola, I mean. Because remember, a hyperbola has those little lines, okay, that include for a parabola, okay? That's why kind of it is a parabola. But since a hyperbola has both of them combined, we're going to go with hyperbola, okay? All right, let's do one more just to, where's my eraser? Here we go. All right, so let's do one more. This time we have y squared equals 7y minus 2x plus 13. Okay. Keep in mind, this time I gave you one where you have to move things around. Okay, you have to actually solve it. So all we have to move is, for the first time ever, okay, we can actually have a 0 on one end. Okay, technically we're not allowed to leave everything on one side, but when it comes to equations that have to deal with parabolas and ellipses and circles and all those kinds of equations, we can actually, even for quadratics, okay, we can actually move everything to one side. So technically we have minus y squared. So technically now we have, again, I like to go with the squares first, negative y squared plus 7y minus 2x plus 13 equals 0, okay? Technically these two have to flip because it's x before y. So let's rewrite it as minus 2x plus 7y plus 13 equals 0. Again, we're going to have A equals, B equals, C equals, D equals, E, and F. Okay? By looking at our chart again, do we have an A? Do we have an x squared? We don't have an x squared, so we don't have an A. So A is 0. Do we have a B? Something we have x, y together? We do not. So another 0. Do we have something with C, y squared? Which we do, which is negative 1, because there's a 1 here. So minus 1. Do we have a D? Something with just an x? We do, which is minus 2. E, something with just y? We do, which is 7. And then do we just have a constant? Which we do, which is 13. Now that we have our numbers, again in there, can we actually solve this? We can. Again, we go back to our chart. Okay. Let's start off with the first one. Is A equal to 0 or B equal to 0, but not both? Look at that. It says A or B, but not both. So it cannot be a what? A parabola, right? Because it says A equals 0 or B equals 0, not both. Since here they both equal 0, it cannot be a parabola. Okay, what about A equals C? Is A and C the same for a circle? It is not, right? One is 0, one's negative 1. For an ellipse, A and C have the same sign, but not the same number. So A and C do not have the same sign. What about the A and C have opposite signs? Okay. Do they both have opposite signs? Well, we really don't know. Okay. Because 0 can be either negative or can be either positive. Okay. I mean, well, really it can be any, right? Because you could write it as minus 0x or plus 0x. It really doesn't have a sign. So here's the deal. Since A equals 0 or B is 0, okay, we will go with parabola because it says either A or B, okay? Even though there's no two equations for both zeros, we still have to apply that theorem, okay? Since it cannot be really any of the other theorem, the closest one here would be parabola because A has a 0, okay, or B has a 0, okay? So technically this one, even though it contradicts itself because it says not both, they still have zeros, okay? So it is a parabola. Okay, that's why I chose this one, because again, since none of the other really ones work, the only one that kind of works is a parabola. It's because again, it has zeros. We have to go with that one, okay? All right, make sure you have it on your notes. Your assignment for today is do with the particular markers. Number 1, you guys have 2x squared plus 2y squared minus 3x plus 4y equals 5. Okay, that's your first one. Your second one is 4x squared minus 8x equals 4y squared minus 6y plus 10. Okay, and then your last one is going to be very simple one. Y equals 27x minus 2y, or minus y squared. And that's it. Okay, again, make sure you identify which one it is. If it's a circle, a parabola, ellipsis, or hyperbola. Okay, again, all you have to do is label it A, B, C, D, E, and F. Make sure you sum your answers as soon as you're done watching the video, and I'll be here waiting for your email.